The city lights glittered below my penthouse window, 1,000 tiny stars scattered across the streets of Los Angeles. My reflection stared back at me in the glass, red lipstick still perfect, silk blouse smooth against my skin, hair pinned the way my stylist liked it. Everything looked polished, controlled. But tonight, something inside me was trembling. My phone buzzed on the marble counter. One message. Mom, can we talk? Please. It had been 3 years since I'd seen her name light up my screen. My chest tightened, memories pressing in like a tide I thought I'd buried. I turned away, clutching the edge of the counter as the scent of jasmine from the diffuser drifted through the room, the same scent she used to love. It was strange how one word, Mom, could make a grown woman feel like a little girl again. The same girl who once wrapped her love in ribbons and gold paper, only to find it tossed away like garbage. I could still see it. The trash bag outside our old house in Ohio, half open, and inside, the necklace I'd saved for months to buy her on Mother's Day. My heart had cracked that day, quietly, without witnesses. Now she was begging to talk. I picked up my phone, staring at her message, my thumb hovering. The woman in the window looked calm, successful, unbothered. But the girl behind those eyes remembered everything. And she wasn't sure forgiveness was part of tonight's plan.
I was 19 when I bought that necklace.
A simple silver heart with a tiny sapphire in the middle, her birthstone. I'd worked the late shift at a diner in Dayton, wiping down tables and refilling coffee cups for truckers who barely looked up when they said thanks. Every dollar went into a jar under my bed, marked in black Sharpie for Mom. Back then, I believed love could be earned. On Mother's Day morning, I wrapped the box myself with pale blue paper and tied it with a ribbon I'd saved from a department store bag. She was sitting at the kitchen table in her robe, scrolling through Facebook, sipping her coffee. Happy Mother's Day, Mom, I said softly, sliding the box toward her. She looked up, distracted. Oh, you didn't have to, Lily. I wanted to. I smiled, my heart racing. She opened it, glanced at the necklace, and for a moment I thought I saw her eyes soften. Then she said, It's nice, honey, but you shouldn't waste your money on things like this. You need to think about college, not jewelry. The words hit harder than they should have. I told her I got a scholarship, that I was trying, that I just wanted her to have something from me. She smiled, thin, polite, and went back to her phone. That night, I went to throw away the coffee grounds, and there it was, the trash bag by the kitchen door, half open. My heart stopped. Inside, buried under paper towels and leftovers, was the little blue box. For a long time, I just stood there, staring at it.
I didn't cry, not then.
My hands were shaking so badly, I could barely tie the bag shut again. Something inside me just broke. I didn't confront her. I didn't scream. Instead, I walked upstairs, packed my old duffel, and left before dawn. I remember my grandmother's words echoing in my head from years ago. You can't make someone see your worth, baby. You just have to live it loud enough that they can't ignore it. That morning, I caught a Greyhound bus headed west with $200 and a notebook full of dreams. I didn't look back at the house. Because the moment you see your love in a trash bag, you realize it's time to stop begging to be kept. Los Angeles didn't welcome me with open arms. It barely noticed me at all. The city was loud, restless, and dazzling in all the wrong ways. I spent my first nights in a small motel that smelled faintly of bleach and regret. My savings dwindled fast, but something inside me refused to crumble. Maybe it was pride. Maybe it was the voice of my grandmother whispering, "Keep going, baby, you got your own name to make." I found work at a coffee shop near Sunset Boulevard. Morning shifts meant 5 a.m. alarms, aching feet, and fake smiles for customers who complained about almond milk foam. But every tip went towards something bigger: design classes at night, sketchbooks, and eventually a secondhand laptop. I'd always loved creating things: jewelry, decor, little details that made people feel seen. So I started an online store called Heartline. Just me, a few handmade pieces, and a dream. My first sale was a pair of earrings for $12. I cried when the notification pinged. Months passed, then years. Heartline grew from a side hustle to a full-time business. Orders came in from strangers, women who said my pieces made them feel brave, loved, or seen. I started sharing short stories with each item, reminders that beauty could come from broken things. When the shop hit its first $10,000 month, I sat in my tiny studio apartment and whispered, "See, Grandma? You were right." But I never told my mom. Not a word. She called once, a short, awkward conversation about distant relatives. I said I was doing okay. That was it. I couldn't bring myself to tell her about the brand, the features in magazines, or the investors who wanted to expand my line into boutiques. Success felt too sacred to share with someone who once threw it away before it began. Still, there were moments, quiet ones, when I caught myself wondering if she'd be proud. I'd imagine her opening a magazine, seeing my face, and realizing the daughter she'd underestimated had built something real. But when those thoughts came, I'd glance at the silver pendant I now wore around my neck, a replica of the one I once gave her. It had become my talisman, a symbol of everything I'd learned: resilience, worth, and the power of walking away. One night, as I packed a shipment bound for New York, I paused, looking at the label that read L. Carter Designs. My name, mine alone, on every box. And yet, deep down, I knew this story wasn't finished. Because success, no matter how sweet, never truly silences the echo of the people who made you doubt yourself. And soon, I'd hear that echo again, this time, not from the past, but from my mother herself. It started with an email. Subject line: "It's Mom. I need to see you." I stared at it for a full minute before I opened it. The message was short, shaky, typed like someone who wasn't sure they deserved to hit send. "Lily, I know I have no right to ask, but I'm in trouble. The house is gone, and I don't know where else to turn. Please, I just need to talk to you." I read it 3 times, feeling something cold and old rise up in my chest. My mother, the woman who once rolled her eyes at my dreams, was asking for help. For 3 days, I didn't respond. I tried to focus on work, Heartline's new showroom opening downtown, but her words echoed with every breath. So I replied. Short. Simple. Meet me at my office. Friday, noon. When she arrived, I was standing by the tall windows overlooking the city. The space smelled of vanilla and cedarwood, soft jazz playing in the background. Walls lined with framed magazine covers, each one featuring Heartline, each headline carrying my name, Lily Carter, from nothing to a national brand. She walked in hesitantly, her step small, her purse clutched tight against her chest. For a moment, I didn't recognize her. Her hair had grayed, her eyes tired. "Lily," she breathed. "You look incredible." "Thanks, Mom," I said softly. "You found the place okay?" Her eyes darted around the office, the glass conference table, the gold logo on the wall, the awards gleaming under soft light. This is yours." I nodded. "All of it." She blinked, her voice trembling. "You did all this by yourself?" "Yeah. I guess you could say I learned to stop throwing things away." The silence that followed was heavy. She knew exactly what I meant. Her shoulders sank. I deserve that. I didn't say anything. I just studied her. The woman who once made me feel small enough to disappear, now standing in awe of the person I became, without her applause. "I'm sorry, Lily," she whispered finally. "I was wrong. About everything. I thought I was protecting you, pushing you to be practical, but I was cruel. I didn't realize how much it hurt you." Her eyes glistened. "You were always the brave one." "I see that now." I leaned against my desk, my voice calm. "You didn't just hurt me, Mom. You taught me to believe my love wasn't worth keeping. But that's what made me fight harder." She wiped her eyes. "I lost everything, the house, my savings. I don't know where else to go." There it was, the real reason. Not just regret. Need. For a second, the old ache tried to surface, that instinct to fix things, to earn her love again. But it was quickly replaced by something stronger, clarity. "I'll help you," I said finally. "But not the way you think." Her eyes widened. "What do you mean?" I smiled gently. You'll understand soon. I walked her through the office, past my team, mostly young women laughing, designing, thriving. I saw her watching them, realizing what I'd built, a world where women didn't need permission to be seen. We stopped at the Heartline Foundation plaque by the elevator, a charity I'd started to support single mothers rebuilding their lives. I turned to her. This is where you'll start again, helping other women find their strength. If you're ready to face what you once ignored. Tears filled her eyes. Lily, I don't deserve this. No, I said softly. But maybe it's not about deserving anymore. Maybe it's about becoming. The next Monday, my mother showed up at the Heartline Foundation in a plain beige sweater and worn-out jeans. No makeup, no polished pretense, just a quiet humility I'd never seen before. She stood near the doorway while volunteers sorted boxes of donated clothes and filled care packages for women starting over. I watched her from my office window. There was something almost fragile about her now, like a once bright mirror dulled by time, finally willing to reflect honestly. When she noticed me, she smiled nervously. I wasn't sure you'd really want me here. I wasn't sure you'd really come, I replied. We spent the morning in silence, working side by side. She folded clothes, labeled boxes, listened to stories from women who'd lost everything and were trying to rebuild. When lunch came around, we sat at a small table in the break room. She looked exhausted, but lighter somehow. Lily, she said quietly, I didn't realize how strong these women are. What they've been through, she trailed off, her voice trembling. I think I'm one of them. I nodded slowly. You are. That's why you're here. She looked at me then, eyes glistening. What do you need from me? I'll do whatever it takes to make this right. I took a deep breath, choosing my words carefully. It's not about fixing what's broken, Mom. It's about building something better. She frowned, confused.
How?
I leaned forward. Start with honesty. No pretending. No controlling. Just truth. If we're going to rebuild anything between us, it has to start there. She nodded, swallowing hard. Okay, I can do that. I hesitated, then added, and one more thing. I'll help you get back on your feet, but only if you promise to help others too. Not from guilt, from gratitude. She stared at me, tears spilling over. You sound so much like your grandmother. That made me smile. She's the reason I made it. I think she's still guiding both of us. My mother reached across the table, her hands trembling. Lily, I don't expect forgiveness. But thank you for giving me a chance to become someone who deserves it. I held her hand for a moment, the same hand that once pushed me away, now shaking, searching for redemption. This isn't pity, Mom, I said softly. This is a boundary with grace. She nodded, understanding. By the end of the day, she was helping one of the women fill out job applications, laughing softly at something the woman said. For the first time in years, her laughter didn't sound hollow. Watching her, I realized something powerful. I wasn't doing this to prove her wrong anymore. I was doing it because I'd finally grown into the kind of woman who could choose compassion without losing herself. And that felt like the real victory. 3 months later, I walked into the Heartline Foundation on a quiet Friday morning. The soft hum of activity filled the air, volunteers chatting, the rustle of boxes being unpacked, the smell of fresh coffee drifting from the kitchen. And there she was, my mother. She stood by the front desk, gently showing a young woman how to organize donated jewelry. Her hair was tied back, her smile easy, her posture calm. The woman beside her laughed, a real, belly-deep laugh, and Mom joined in. Something inside me eased. The bitterness that once pulsed in my chest had dulled into something softer, something almost like peace. When she saw me, her face lit up. Lily, look, we just got a shipment of your new pendants. The ones with the sapphire hearts. I smiled. Yeah, I thought they might be fitting. She nodded, running her thumb over one of them. They're beautiful. You know, I kept the one I found in the donation box. That caught me off guard. You what? She smiled sheepishly. Someone must have dropped it off months ago. I didn't realize it was yours until I saw the tag, Heartline by L. Carter. It felt like a full circle moment. I stared at her, the world tilting slightly. The pendant she found, a sapphire heart, the same design I'd once given her and found in the trash. Except this time, she hadn't thrown it away. She'd found it, kept it, cherished it. Maybe, I whispered, it was meant to come back to you when we were both ready. She reached for my hand, tears shining in her eyes. I'm sorry for not seeing you sooner, Lily. For not knowing how special you really were. I squeezed her fingers gently. It's okay, Mom. You don't have to be sorry forever. Just be here now. Outside, sunlight poured through the wide glass windows, spilling across the room in golden streaks. I could almost hear my grandmother's voice again. The world won't value you until you value yourself. I smiled softly, realizing I finally did. Later that night, as I closed my office door, I paused and looked at the silver heart pendant around my neck. It had once been a symbol of rejection. Now it was proof of resilience. I whispered, almost to myself. She threw away my gift once. But the real gift was learning I was never disposable. And for the first time in years, that truth felt like home. Bottom of form.